He studied the world's greatest scientists, and Islam changed his life forever. What if I told you the father of modern science was not European? What if algebra, surgery, optics, and the scientific method were built by Muslims centuries before the West? This is the true story of an atheist historian who tried to disprove religion, but instead discovered a hidden history so powerful it changed his life forever. He didn't convert because of emotions. He converted because of facts. Stay till the end, because this story might change how you see Islam and science forever. The rain fell softly against the tall windows of the university library, as if the sky itself was whispering secrets to the world below. Inside, surrounded by towering shelves of ancient books and modern research journals, sat Professor Daniel Hartman. He was a historian, respected across continents, known for his sharp logic and unbreakable skepticism. Daniel did not believe in God, destiny, or divine guidance. He believed only in facts, documents, and evidence. At the age of 47, Daniel had dedicated his life to one pursuit: understanding how human civilization truly advanced. Kings, wars, religions, he had studied them all. But lately, something had disturbed his peace. His latest research project was titled "The Most Influential Scientists Who Changed Human History." It was meant to be purely academic. No emotions, no beliefs, just data. Yet, the deeper he went, the more uncomfortable he felt. He had begun with familiar names: Newton, Galileo, Einstein. But as he traced the roots of modern science, something unexpected kept appearing in footnotes, references, and ancient manuscripts. Arabic names, Muslim scholars, books written centuries before Europe's Renaissance. At first, Daniel dismissed it as coincidence. But coincidence appeared too many times. One night, as the library lights dimmed and most students left, Daniel opened an old translated manuscript by accident. It was written by a man named Ibn al-Haytham, known in the West as Al-Hazen. Daniel read slowly, his fingers trembling slightly as he realized something shocking. This man had described the scientific method, hypothesis, experimentation, observation 600 years before Francis Bacon. Daniel leaned back in his chair, his heart pounding. "That's not possible," he whispered. He checked again. Dates, sources, cross-references. It was true. That night, Daniel did not sleep. Over the following weeks, Daniel's obsession grew. He traveled through the golden age of Islamic civilization like a man walking through a hidden city buried beneath history. Al-Khwarizmi, the father of algebra. Al-Zarawi, the pioneer of modern surgery. Ibn Sina, whose medical encyclopedia was taught in European universities for over 500 years. These were not legends. These were facts. And yet, Daniel realized with growing discomfort that his entire academic career had barely mentioned them. Why wasn't I taught this? He asked himself. One evening, while preparing a lecture, Daniel noticed something even stranger. Many of these Muslim scientists began their books not with pride or self-glorification, but with the same sentence: "In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate." Why would scientists, rational thinkers, begin their work with faith? Daniel frowned. He had always believed religion slowed progress. But here was evidence that faith had fueled discovery. This contradiction haunted him. His colleagues noticed the change. "You seem distracted, Daniel," said Professor Lewis during a faculty meeting. "Everything all right?" "Yes, just research," Daniel replied, forcing a smile. But inside, a storm was raging. One night, Daniel found himself reading the Quran for the first time in his life. Not to believe, only to understand. He expected poetry, myths, and vague spirituality. What he found instead shook him deeply. The verses spoke about the universe, the stars, the development of the human embryo, the balance of nature, and the pursuit of knowledge. "Read, in the name of your Lord who created." Daniel froze. The first command was not believe. It was read. As a historian, this disturbed him more than anything else. Days turned into months. Daniel's research paper slowly transformed into something else. A personal journey he could not explain. He began attending public lectures at the Islamic Center, sitting quietly at the back. He listened as scholars spoke about tawhid, oneness of God, purpose, and accountability. One night, after a lecture, an elderly Muslim scholar approached him. "You look like a man searching for something," the scholar said gently. Daniel hesitated. "I'm not religious." The scholar smiled. Neither was Ibrahim when he questioned the stars. That sentence struck Daniel like lightning. They spoke for hours. Not arguments, not debates, just questions and reflections. For the first time in his life, Daniel felt his intellect and heart speaking the same language. The real breaking point came during a sleepless night in his apartment. Daniel stared at the ceiling, replaying everything he had learned. The unity of scientific discovery, the moral discipline of Muslim scientists, their humility, their belief that knowledge was an act of worship. He whispered into the darkness, "If you exist, guide me." The words shocked him. He had never prayed before. Tears streamed down his face, uninvited and unstoppable. In that moment, something inside him collapsed, and something new was born. Weeks later, in a quiet room at the mosque, Daniel repeated words he had practiced 100 times in his mind. "I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is the messenger of Allah." The room felt brighter. His chest felt lighter. Professor Daniel Hartman was now Abdullah. The backlash was immediate. News spread fast. Students whispered. Colleagues distanced themselves. Some mocked him openly. "You threw away your intellect," one professor said. Daniel, now Abdullah, smiled calmly. "No," he replied. "I finally used it fully." He resigned from his prestigious position and began writing a book, not as a historian proving facts, but as a human being sharing truth. The book went viral, not because it preached, but because it asked the same question Daniel once feared. What if faith and reason were never enemies? Years later, Abdullah stood before a global audience, his beard now slightly gray, his voice steady. "I did not convert because I abandoned science," he said. "I converted because science led me to Islam." The hall fell silent. Some cried, some questioned, some began their own journeys. And somewhere, in a quiet library, another historian opened a forgotten manuscript and felt the first crack in certainty. If this story moved you even a little, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, so more people can see the truth they were never taught. Subscribe to the channel for powerful stories that awaken the mind and soul. And comment below. Do you believe science and faith can walk together? Your engagement helps spread knowledge. Your support helps spread light.